Alongside Jesse Simons, Rob Lewis, and Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price for the Rocky Top Roundtable. Missouri week, guys, and Tennessee heads into this game coming off a bye week, healthier than they've been, but still not completely healthy. Darnell Wright's ankle still maybe a little bit iffy. Obviously, Bryce Thompson is still a bit banged up. Henry as well. But on the whole, a more healthy football team and healthier at quarterback, where Jarrett Guarantano has a smaller cast on the hand, and we expect him to be the guy coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, Jeremy Pruitt's not going to announce it officially, but it does appear that he's going to be the starter for Tennessee. He did say on the teleconference on Wednesday that they know who they're going to start. He's just not ready to announce it. But Jesse, as we left practice on Tuesday, we saw Jerry getting the first team reps. Look, I mean, he's the guy who's sort of saved Tennessee's bacon the last 3 weeks, so it makes the most sense for him to ascend back to the starting role.
Yeah, I mean, other than just maintaining the mojo, number 2 has been the best quarterback for Tennessee since they've kind of rebounded and saved their season over the last month during this 3-game winning streak. It makes sense to kind of give him the start. This is going to be, Tennessee's second opportunity to win a true road game. They obviously came up short at Alabama, got blown out at Florida, but they got off the deck 2 weeks ago at Kentucky. That was a big win that Jeremy Pruitt really thought his program needed to get, to win a game on the road. Now they have a second opportunity, Rob, that, if they win, you're looking at a Vandy team in 2 weeks at suddenly 7 wins is very realistic.
Yeah, and it just feels to me this weekend. I mean, I don't think it'll be easy. I think Tennessee will have a hard time scoring points. I think it'll be low scoring. But this Missouri's offense the last couple of weeks, even with Kelly Bryant back, just has looked stagnant. As a whole, they feel like a team that's headed in the opposite direction of Tennessee. They've lost 4 in a row. Tennessee's won 3 in a row. Feels like Tennessee's starting to believe in themselves. It feels like Missouri looks just like one of those classic college teams you see in late November. What are we playing for? They're bowl. Are they even going to be eligible for a bowl? They're waiting on an NCAA appeal. Like I said, just feels like 2 teams headed in different directions.
Missouri has 27 points in their last 4 games, 14 against Vandy, 7 against Kentucky, 6 against Florida, 0 against Georgia. That's less than a touchdown a game. But don't you think that they're going to give Tennessee everything they got early? Now, it's up to Tennessee to kind of knock them down and see if they stay down. But wouldn't you expect, Kelly Bryant and that offense to really try to test Tennessee's defense early in this football game?
Well, I think they're going to try to run the football and see if they can line up and run it. I was interested to watch the Florida game as to see whether or not Missouri had a whole lot of desire to be there. And their effort was not an issue. I thought they played hard. They weren't very effective offensively, but I did think they played hard, and defensively they played really hard. So, yeah, I mean, I think Tennessee's got to answer the bell out of the gate. You don't want to fall behind 13-0 like you did against Kentucky and not get off the deck that way. And maybe that's why Jared's going to start there. But I think Tennessee has got to show up out of the gate and be ready to go.
Well, I mean, Roundtree's a guy that's given the balls fits the last 2 years. He's rushed for over 100 yards, I think 4 or 5 combined touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. So he certainly presents some problems for Tennessee. Kelly Bryant has not been the same quarterback since early in the season. He's running a lot more than I think he anticipated when he transferred to Missouri, but that seems to be perhaps the Tigers' best avenue of success. I mean, former Tennessee head coach Derek Dooley said just this week, they feel like they're in football hell right now because this offense just kind of can't get out of its own way, where they'll make a penalty on 3rd down or they'll have a bad turnover in plus territory. So those are some things that Tennessee has capitalized recently and during their winning streak, and Jeremy Pruitt and this defense that has gained confidence and kind of found some real star players. They need to continue that on Saturday.
And I think, Rob, they'll test Tennessee in the middle of the field because their tight ends are legit.
Yeah, Alberto, I'm not even going to try to say it.
Right.
I mean, he's an NFL player. I mean, I think that without question that's something they'll lean in on, and also because they just don't have the threats on the perimeter that they've been able to hurt Tennessee with in the past. They've not necessarily had some big name guys at receiver, but they've been able to generate big plays against Tennessee the last couple of years. And Roundtree I don't think he's 100%, and he's a guy that's killed Tennessee the past couple of years.
Flip it back to Jarrett Guarantano. Did you see enough in the second half of Kentucky to think that he's got more rhythm back? I mean, it's kind of been gradually progressing, but it seemed like he got the ball out a lot more effectively, specifically this throw right here. I mean, I thought that was maybe one of his better plays of the night, where he climbed the pocket and then threw one on the run.
Well, I think for him it's about his eyes. Does he get caught watching the line of scrimmage because he doesn't trust pass protection, or does he keep his eyes downfield? I thought in the Kentucky game in the 3rd quarter, when he came out and went 7 of 7 to start the second half, he had a good pocket, he had good protection, and he kept his eyes downfield. He trusted his offensive line. When he does that, I think he plays more in rhythm and throws the ball on time. I think when he starts worrying about, everybody coming at him and his eyes drop down the line of scrimmage, then I think he gets himself in trouble. To me, it's about his eyes.
Yeah, I mean, the play that we just highlighted there, the throw, the kind of seed to Palmer, that was really the only throw that Jarrett had in the second half, or in that game, against Kentucky, where he really had pressure. I mean, that was one of the remarkable things about Tennessee's offensive line play that game. Couldn't run the ball, but with K'Ron Calvert at right tackle in place of Darnell Wright, they gave a very clean pocket to both quarterbacks almost the entire game. Jarrett was able to be comfortable, and to Hubbs' point, he was able to keep his eyes down the field and not really feel those ghosts or pressure that may or may not have been there.
And Britt, don't you think a part of it, of what we see from Jarrett, is just Jim Chaney, learning more about what he can do, what his limitations are, how he needs to call a football game?
Well, I think they both have learned from each other. I think Jarrett's probably checking less than he did earlier in the year. I think they probably scaled some stuff back to what all he could get to. And look, you can flip it right or left and get into a different run play, but you don't have the full autonomy for everything at the line of scrimmage. I think it's allowed Jared and helped Jared some. And I think Jim's called the game differently a little bit with Jared, to your point. And there was ugly growing pains with it at the start of the year, Austin, but it seems like it's moving in the right direction here in the back half of the season.
No doubt about it. I expect Missouri to do more of what Kentucky did, which is bracket Jawan Jennings to try to take him away, which means Josh Palmer, which means Marquez Callaway, and those young receivers that get in the game like Ramel Keaton have to step up and make plays.
This is a good Missouri defense. I mean, they're good. Now they run out of gas, and they may not last for 60 minutes, but Tennessee better be ready right out of the gate because Missouri's defense is legit, in my opinion.
And they really haven't had a drop-off even while losing their star linebacker. I mean, Garrett goes out, and they've still made – they're a top 10 in the nation overall in terms of total defense, but in probably a more important category, they're still top 20, number 14 in the country in yards per play. I mean, they make you earn it. Georgia won 27-0, but they had to earn every single one of those points. Florida could not run the ball at all, had less than 50 on Saturday. It was solely on Cal Trask's shoulders, and they kind of used their running backs out of the backfield a lot, which is going to be an interesting wrinkle because we've talked about it on the GQ and on the podcast and elsewhere. Tennessee has not targeted its running backs really at all since the first 2 games of the season.
All right, we'll all find out how it plays out coming up Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern from Columbia, Missouri. It will be, a cold night. It's always cold in Columbia this time of year. Lovely Columbia. For Jesse Samden, Rob Lewis, and Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price for the Rocky Top Roundtable.